So here I'm going to walk down the hedgerow a bit, and this part of the hedgerow is pretty much left intact. That's great. They kind of tore up the road area more than we'd talked about, and down here farther to the south they ran over tons of things that they weren't supposed to and ground everything into a pulp. So that's going to take some major replanting. I moved a lot of stuff out of this road here. There's a bunch of grapes over there, and I kind of hopscotched 5 of the plants over the existing ones so that they would so I could make the road wider for them. And so then I'll replant kind of where these orange cones are and over. That'll get replanted as something, wildflowers or maybe some shrubs. So as we get up here to this area, there was a pole like right here they took out, and so they put a new one in a different spot back here, and then they took down a large silver maple tree and a large old pear tree that was at the corner of the property, and those are just laying in piles over there, which is kind of a bummer. They really tore them up so badly that you could hardly do anything with the wood other than use it as firewood. So here's a new pole, and then you can see there's a lot of compaction, and they kind of made a big muddy mess out of a lot of this driveway area, running giant equipment back and forth over it many times, kicking up a lot of dust and just generally kind of ruining the soil. So like from here over, all this was hedgerow before, like what you start to see here. So that's going to need to be replanted. And those will all be shrub species that, will not interfere with the power lines. And I'll leave them in the driveway, a good driveway on this side. Again, kind of bringing my plantings out to where these orange cones are. So these, some of these shrubs, they got knocked into and ran over a bit by the equipment, but I think I'll prune out some of the worst stuff and then let the plants regrow. And I think these will bounce back probably just fine. Some of the smaller plants and some of the ones that just got scraped away, those will have to be replanted. So we're coming up to another pole area here. There's an autumn olive that just got laid over, and then these things are pretty much, I don't know, this Nanking cherry, it may come back. Maybe I'll prune it to the ground before it wakes up and see if it resprouts. This red osier dogwood, same deal. It's worth a shot. It's still got some living stuff on it, so it may bounce back. The root system is there. It's probably pretty compacted now, but it's there, so I think it may come back. Here's another autumn olive that is pretty much just all dead brush, and there's a 9-bark here too. And let's see, yeah, that's still green. So even though it's totally smashed, it's kind of laid over on its side, so maybe I'll prune that heavily and that may bounce back as well. And here they just kind of scraped everything. There's nothing left. I doubt that much is going to pop up right in this area. Another new pole. And these things got ran over pretty well too. So again, I may prune while I kind of replant at the same time and see what happens. A lot of these things, the tags have gone missing. I can tell by the bark and buds of a lot of things what they are, but there's a couple things in here that may be question marks because there's so little left. This is a Nanking cherry, I can tell, but again, pretty bad condition. Of course, all the nice mulch that I'd built up over the years is pretty much all gone too, which is a bummer. This looks like a red osier dogwood. I'll prune that and see if it comes back. Another Nanking cherry. 9-bark. Hazelnut. No catechins. Another hazelnut. So here, this stretch, they didn't do too badly. They kind of came through right here, it looks like. But yeah, this stuff wasn't growing that great to begin with. But we'll need to do some interplanting here to kind of get this back up to speed. This is getting to be the farthest extent of the property, so least cared for stuff. And then there's probably 10 shrubs or so near the end that they just totally ran over and scraped away, so that'll have to be replanted too. 9 bark. So yeah, there were shrubs all right here. So they've expanded and they kind of shifted the direction of the lines a few times, which gobbled up more of my property than I would have liked. The old lines went on a very straight shot through the property. The new lines jog a bit back and forth. So here's standing at the corner post of my property, looking north now, and I'll walk back up. So this stuff to my right, that's all owned by Welch's for the most part, where it's cleared there. It's a nice little woodland that they kind of bit into pretty well with their brush hog thing. So here again, I will plant stuff, or at least flowers and some small shrubs, everything kind of to the left of where this white PVC post is here. Yeah, they ground up some stuff here. So that's kind of what it's looking like in mid-March 2020, the spring after the major power line expansion. I'm going to put up a sign that says, do not come back through and try to replant grasses and things back here. I really don't want more grass than I already have to deal with. So I'm going to just seed a lot of wildflowers and things down and hope that some of that takes. And we'll see what kind of weather we get this year. Last year we had a pretty favorable rainfall year, which was great because I was not able to do much in the way of watering and maintaining my plants last year. So that helped me out with the success of transplanting the stuff into my grandma's yard. This year, I don't know. We've had a kind of a strange, dry, warm winter. Spring is not too premature, so I'm hopeful that we won't get too warm too soon and then shock everything or kill everything with the late frost. Here's an area up here they kind of ran into my pawpaw patch. Some hazelnuts here, kind of just escaped the wrath. So yeah, here they dumped a giant load of stone, like crushed stone, that they used around those power posts when they set them. And so they ran over a couple of pawpaws here. And this kind of damage, it looks pretty ugly, but I think within a year or two it'll pretty much be back to looking somewhat normal. This was a mountain ash tree they hammered down. Pawpaws here, mostly. Winged sumac grove. Probably will keep mowing this stuff back just so it doesn't... I've got plenty of it on the property, probably more than I really need, so it's a nice plant for mulch. And the berries are edible as kind of a lemonade, and the deer like to browse them and eat those berries too. The chestnut coppice area, that stuff got mowed over and rolled over a bit. Hopefully I'll have to replant some of those this year. This is kind of half the remains of that nice pear tree that used to be over here. There's the other part of it there. I think that wood it's been sitting for a while. There's some cherry there too. I don't think it's probably, I'm not going to be able to do anything with it probably in terms of woodworking, because I think it's been sitting for too long. And same with the nice black cherry they cut down up here. That species, you're not supposed to leave it sitting around for too long because it gets punky pretty fast. So I may have missed the mark on that, but I was so busy tearing down this house over here last summer. It took up most of my summer, and then dealing with moving some stuff around, that I can only do so many things during the course of a year. Here you can see the hazelnuts are in bloom right now. The catkins are hanging and banging, as the Hulkster would say. Looking pretty nice. Let's see if I see any little flowers. Yeah, okay, maybe, I don't know if it'll focus here. These little tiny kind of magenta orange flowers will receive that pollen, and then we'll have hazelnuts if it all connects. So there's quite a few hazels through here. That one's got hardly any catkins this year. Could just be differences in timing too. This one's got some. This more European style hazel's got a whole tree full, so that one's looking really good. So that's it. That's the quick tour. That's what I'm dealing with this spring. So I'm hoping in a year or so you'll see quite a different picture here, or in a few years anyway. Nothing happens that fast. 5 years, this should look almost back to the way it was, I hope. Okay, thanks.